Parent, do you help your teenager or young adult kid do annual reflections, annual reviews, and annual planning? Do you help them tease out important lessons from the last year and implement them into the new year to make the new year more successful, more impactful, and achieve more of their goals? If you have been wanting to do this, but you are just like, you don't know how to do this, and this video is for you. In this video, I'm going to share with you my entire process, my entire framework that I use with myself, that I use with every single coaching client in my coaching program, which are teenagers and young adults, to help them engage in a very comprehensive and introspective reflection process and help them map out their goals, dreams, and New Year resolutions in the new year so that they can be more successful, achieve more goals in the new year, and have a better year than the last year. This video is for you. And I'm really excited to share this process with you because seeing the transformation in myself, in my own children, and I actually over the weekend, I literally use my entire process, which you are going to learn in this video with my own children. My oldest son is 14 years old. My middle son is 11 years old, and I have a younger one. He's only 4, so he's not part of this process. But over the weekend, I used this process. I did a reflection with my 2 other kids. It has been incredible. Like almost every single student who has a chance to do this with me, everyone told me, Dr. I, this is an eye-opening experience, especially if you have never engaged in a formal reflection and planning process. I think you are really going to love this. So this is the planner that I have created to guide the process. It is okay if you do not have a copy of the planner, and I do have a very comprehensive document, like 20 pages or so for the reflection. You can actually click on the link below and download the document for you for free. My intention to record this video for you is that I want you to help your kid achieve and first of all gain clarity regarding what they want in the new year, and second of all to really create system structures and to hold them accountable to achieve their goals and dreams and aspirations. That will make me very happy. Okay, without any further ado, let's get started. I'm going to share my screen and show you how I do this very comprehensive annual review, reflection, and planning process. Let's go. Hello again. Let's get started. So in this video, I have divided the video into 3 parts. So first, we're going to discuss why annual review, why is this so important? And second, I will share with you how to review. And third, this is my entire process. And there is also a document that comes with this. Please click on the link below and download my 10 or 15 plus pages document that is yours. And so let's get started. Why annual review? And I have been doing education, working in education for more than 2 decades, served thousands of young people, helped them achieve their goals. And I will share with you the percentage of students who actually do engage in annual review, annual reflection, and annual planning is like few, maybe 1%. And however, when you look at almost all high performers, successful people, every single person, they treat planning very seriously. And I don't remember if I mentioned this in the introduction. I was by nature a very chaotic person. I love being spontaneous. I'm the type of people who will just like pack up, have a trip the next day without any planning. So I have a really high tolerance for uncertainty and I love being spontaneous. However, that is good for in life for having fun, but in terms of work, performance, success, achieving my goals, serving my clients, I cannot just show up and being spontaneous. Hey, what do you want to discuss? That is not going to serve anybody and that will destroy my business. So I really learned a lot from my personal mistakes as a result of a lack of planning, a lack of reflection, a lack of system and structures. So that's why I want to spend a few minutes to share with you, because this is the part, just show me the how, I want to learn the why. However, the more clear that you are regarding why this is so important, the more likely that you are going to continue on this journey. Because oftentimes humans, right? We are looking for a shortcut. Just teach me the how. But transformation is not a result of information. And if information is the solution, all of us we would be like so successful in life, right? There's so much free information out there. So I want you do not skip this part. Spend a few minutes and stay with me to really understand why this process is very important. So I will share with you 3 reasons that planning is really important. And so the very first one is I want to share this quote with you that I really love. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And this was definitely my experience. And my very first business initiative, I actually lost so much money that was almost equivalent to how much I made in my entire year as a college professor. I'm embarrassed to share with you how much I lost, true story, but I did lose a lot. And in retrospect, the reason that very first business initiative was a disaster was because I didn't plan at all. My whole agenda for that business initiative was having fun. And that's the only box I could check, which is having fun. And I did have lots of fun. However, because I didn't really, why was I starting this business? What were the clear objectives? What was the target audience? What was the revenue target? I didn't have anything like that. I just failed. So that experience really taught me if I fail to plan, you are planning to fail. And I see this in my students all the time because when you think about it, right? Oftentimes I hear from my students, hey, Dr. I want to have better grades this year. I want to read more books this year. I coach lots of athletes. I want to be stronger physically. All of those are really good intentions. However, none of them is really a good goal. Let me give you an example. For example, if the person says, hey, this year, my intention, I want to read more books. Okay, that's good. But exactly how are you going to do it, right? More books, what is the solution? What is the pathway to do that? Or if someone tells you, hey, Dr. This year, I'm going to read 12 books. That is very clear. So when you have a very clear goal, the pathway is very clear, right? And so if you do not even know what exactly is the goal, there's no clear pathway. A confused mind does not take action. So in the very first case, which I hear all the time from my students, I want to be better. I want to do more of this. Good intentions, but really, really bad goals. Therefore, they fail only a few days into the new year. So when you have a clear plan, I want to do 12 books. So when you have that, you make a plan, and then how can we plan to make that happen? So you just need to read 1 book a month. So let's say that an average book is like 300 pages. So you just need to do 10 pages a day, right? So how can you budget some time to do 10 pages a day? This is so much easier, so much more likely to happen than if someone says, hey, this year I want to do more books. Fail to plan, plan to fail. So when you have that clear goal, much easier to plan. And so here, based on this quote, I also want to share 2 additional takeaways based on this quote, which is lessons are repeated until learned. I actually shared this with over the weekend when I did the reflection with my oldest son. He's a fencer. He spent lots of time fencing, and just like all of us, he has made lots of mistakes on his fencing journey. And so we were just talking about this until you realize, go through this introspective, comprehensive reflection process and really tease out the lessons, you are going to continue to make the mistake. But the thing is not about the mistake. The thing is about the lesson. And what I notice in many of my students is that every time when they make a mistake, they get so emotional. They become so ashamed, so upset, so like, I'm such a failure. I'm such a loser. And they got so emotional. And that intense emotion completely clouds their judgment. Therefore, they miss the lesson. Therefore, they are going to make the mistake again. So the only way to stop this pattern from happening again is through reflection. So for me, so right now we're here talking about annual review, and I highly recommend. And so here's a 1 page in my planner, and let me make this a little bit bigger. And I actually do daily. So this is the this is my daily reflection. So every day I share what is my celebration for today, how could I have made today even better. And in moments like that, when I do either annual review or daily reflection, I'm really helping my brain to tease out very important lessons so that I'm not making the same mistake again. And here, the second message here, if you make the same mistake twice, it is actually a choice. However, so many of us will make the same mistake not only twice, 3 times, 30 times, 50 times, because we fail to plan, we fail to review. So that is reason number 1 why we must engage in annual review. And this is the case for us, like adults. It is definitely 100% more the case for young people. I specialize in working with the teenagers, high schoolers, and college students and college graduates. A big part for this demographic is that their thinking brain, the part of the brain that is in charge of long-term thinking, solution, and focus, self-control, executive functioning, this part of the brain is not fully developed until this person is 25 to 30 years old. So pretty old, right? So that's why at a very, very young age, I want to make sure that I instill this really good habit into my own biological children, into my students, so that they do not make the same mistake twice, so that every time when something happens and they actually reflect on this. And which brings to my second point, which is here. All of us know, I think it was Albert Einstein who said this, experience is the best teacher. And I used to agree with that. As a college professor, I was really book smart. I was not street smart. So after I quit that business, I was like, okay, let's start a business. And I realized book smart can only get me so far. To really help me succeed in life, it is 100% street smart. And so we need both book smart and street smart. And so when I discovered that, I was like, you know what? Experience is not always the best teacher. What makes the best teacher is evaluated experience. There is a huge difference. What's the difference? The difference is that how much are you reflecting on the experience? And when my students come to me, one challenge I help them overcome is that fear of failure, self-doubt, feeling like an imposter. And so every time when they have some challenges or struggles, encounter rejections in their lives, they come to me. And one thing I share with them is that I'm sorry that this actually happened. It is so unfortunate. You got rejected. You didn't do a good job. This happened, that happened, whatever challenges there was. On the other hand, I also say, but I'm also happy that this happened. And let's make sure that you do not waste the mistake. Do not waste the struggle. Do not waste the mistake. And in order for this person to not waste the struggle is that we actually evaluate and we tease out very important lessons so that the same mistake will not repeat again. And Friday, I had a really powerful coaching call, 3-hour coaching call. And I shared with my client, I said, history does not repeat. The reason that we feel like history is repeating is because you and I repeat. So you repeat, therefore history repeats, right? So if you stop repeating yourself, your personal reality will stop repeating itself. So in order to change your personal reality, the only thing you need to change is you, right? And so that is the power of evaluated experience. And so like when you do annual review, really help you engage in this evaluation. So every time I evaluate, I actually help my students tease out 3 really powerful lists, which you are going to learn in this video. What is your to stop list? What is your to keep list? What is your to start list? And then once we finish the list, uh, almost every single student will share with me, oh wow, doctor, I'm so sorry I made this mistake, but I'm also glad that I made this mistake. So they're actually cultivating a sense of gratitude when they look at their challenges. Wow, that was a good mistake. So in my family, with my own children, we homeschool our kids. My oldest has just returned to school, but prior to freshman high school year, we have been mainly homeschooling. So one part of our daily reflection is that what is a good mistake that you have made? And the only way to turn a mistake into a good mistake is evaluation. So if you do not engage in this evaluation process, your kid unfortunately is wasting so much valuable, powerful real life experience. Okay. So that's the second reason why planning is so important. And the third reason is, I don't know if you know this person, Tiago Forte. And so he's the person who has a very famous book and called Building a Second Brain. So I really learned a lot from that person, from Tiago, regarding this second brain. So that's how I got started to become really serious about planning, creating system and structures, and like building my digital second brain. So I really love that book, and I really love this work. And Diego is an advocate for doing annual review, as so you can see here. And so he actually has a book coming out this year. And the entire book is about conducting annual review. And so here, and he's very successful. You can see, I don't know if you don't know him. So here's just like a short bio of him. Has taught 20,000 plus people all over the globe, programs, building a second brain, which I mentioned, 5,000 graduates from over 70 plus countries. He worked in finance, just like overall really successful person. And he attributed his success to building that second brain and annual review. As you can see from here, over 15 years, I have used a very simple practice that has really shaped every major decision in his life, and that process is the annual review. And I so agree with him. I have only been on this journey for about maybe 5 years, has been completely a game changer, and simply because the reflection really helped me anchor in major lessons that I have learned from the previous year that I can apply to the new year, and have a more intentional life, have a more intentional year to make the year better than last year. And it is also really empowering when you look back, like wow, you can really see your own progress, how you used to think. Now you can literally see how much you have improved on this on your own journey called life. And so this year he's writing a book about that. Okay, annual review. So I hope I communicated very clear to you. So we're talking about why annual review. Those are the three reasons that annual review is really important to all of us, and especially to young people, because their thinking brain is now fully developed. I truly believe if all of those young people, young children, high schoolers, college students, they can spend so much time learning chemistry, physics, math so hard, they can definitely master this. This is a fraction of how hard some of those subjects are, because when I was a student, I struggled so much with physics, chemistry, and even though I'm a Chinese, like almost all of my peers, they're just a genius in terms of math, but that is definitely not for me. So for all the young people, if they can master all of those really complex school subjects, there's no reason that they cannot master this. Unfortunately, school doesn't teach this. The good news is you are here, so you are learning this. Okay, so how to do the review, and I'm going to share with you my entire process. This is the document that I created for the annual review. I highly recommend you download the link completely for free. And every year I actually upgrade this document, so it is becoming better and better. And this is so let me first explain to you, this is the process that I follow. So here is the process. This is the framework that I guide my students through, and even myself. I literally use this myself to do the annual review with myself. This is also what I use with my children over the weekend. So this process is what I call the 4C process. It starts with celebration and progress. So you always want to start with the positive to kind of set the stage. And I cannot tell you how many times how my students told me, they said something like this, Dr. I didn't feel like I had a good year, but after this celebration, I'm like, I feel so good about myself. Confidence is boosted. I feel so inspired. I feel so excited. And I know I can do better next year. So do not skip this process, this step. This is really the most important, because in order for your kid to become motivated to achieve a goal, what matters the most is progress. So you really must make an effort to acknowledge their progress, ideally on a daily basis. So I share with you my planner here. This one, this box here is all about celebration. So I actually do daily celebration with myself, with my children. So if you cannot do daily, at least do this on an annual basis with my students or my coaching clients. I meet them on a weekly basis. So we do weekly celebration. And so this is very important. If you want your kid to be motivated, to be confident, do not skip this. So celebration. So I actually have an entire box here. And so make this a bit smaller. So you can select the celebration. There are different categories, and write down the celebration. And do not make your kid a target, meaning that I invite you to also engage in this process with your kid. Now, hey, mommy or daddy, I'm going to watch you to go through this process. I want you to do this with your kid. Very powerful. And so that's the very first C. And the second one is challenges, lessons, and growth. What I said earlier, lessons are repeated until learned. And so think about all the challenges, all the hard times that your family, your kid has encountered in 2025. And so again, I have the table here. And challenges, difficulties, hardships as an individual, as a kid, as a family, whatever happened, and or maybe even as a community, and what are the lessons? This is the most important, right? So I learned, like for example, yesterday I did this with my oldest son, and so he attends a part-time online school, which is a private school. He also attends a full-time in-person school, which is a public school. But both schools, private and public, they do not allow children to use ChatGPT, and I understand. So even though ChatGPT is a really powerful tool that I personally use on a daily basis, frankly speaking, I cannot imagine having my life without ChatGPT. Okay, and but he cannot. He's not allowed to use ChatGPT. But he was caught by me, my husband, the teacher, at least 3 times using ChatGPT. And so that's the mistake, right? So he actually affected his grades, everything. So we actually tease out some really important lessons. So the importance is, the most valuable part is not about the challenge. It's really about what did you learn and how are you growing as a result of the challenge. So this way, we're really thankful for the challenge, because how else are you going to grow? Are you going to learn the lesson without going through the challenge? There's no way, right? So map out, again, here, you really want to practice assessment without judgment. You don't want your kid to feel like, oh, mommy's criticizing me, daddy's judging me, I'm feeling so ashamed. If that is the context for this conversation, this review is not going to be productive at all. Okay, actually will be detrimental to the relationship. So set the stage, assessment, no judgment. We're here as learners. We're not here being judgmental of each other. Okay, so map out. So that is the second C. Challenges, lessons, and growth. This can take, if you go through this whole thing, I think yesterday we spent almost 2 hours with each, 1 hour with each kid. It was really long, can take some time. The third C is capture incomplete. And so here, what were some of the things that your kid did not complete, or as a whole family, you guys didn't complete, the intention was good, but didn't really complete in 2025. So capture again. Do not judge yourself. Don't be ashamed. You can never shame your kid into transformation. And so have all of the incompletes here, and then once you have the incomplete, and ask yourself, okay, is this thing, even though I started it, I didn't really complete it last year, is this project, person, activity, whatever it is, still in alignment with my goal for 2026? If the answer yes, still aligned, then identify some challenges, what stood in the way. Like, for example, in my last video, I shared my personal struggle with being on social media. I have a love and hate relationship with social media. I'm so thankful for social media. So many of you discovered me through social media. That's how I had a great honor to be interviewed by Katie Couric. I was interviewed by Forbes, Adobe, did my TEDx talk. So many incredible things happened to me as a result of social media. At the same time, I also hate social media because it is such a distraction, definitely affects mental health, not only for me, but for everybody. So I have this love-hate relationship with social media. And last year, I restarted my YouTube channel in the spring, like March-ish, restarted. I was kind of consistent until August. We had our whole family moved, so which completely interrupted my flow. I lost my motivation. I lost my momentum. Life got busy. I got so many students, everything. So I just completely stopped. So to me, that is an incomplete project, which is my YouTube channel. So if I go through this, is this YouTube channel still in alignment with my goal in 2026? The answer is yes, yes. That's why I'm still here. So if aligned, what stood in the way? So in my case, what stood in the way was that I was relying too much on my feelings, emotions, and motivation. Meaning that on the days I feel motivated, I do a video. On the days I don't feel motivated, on the days that I get really busy, I just completely forget I do have a YouTube channel. That is not a recipe for success, right? So I kind of identify the challenges standing in the way, and then that will help me create the solution. So if aligned, what is the timeline? So for me, it's Q1. Like, I'm working on this right now. So far has been good for this year. Fingers crossed. So you go through this process regarding every single incomplete. And then last C is, okay, so this, after you go through the first three C's, you should already help your kid have a much better understanding regarding challenges, roadblocks, incompletes, mistakes, lessons learned, and you should also be able to gain so much more clarity regarding yourself, what you want, your values, and specifically goals, dreams, and New Year resolutions for 2026. So that is actually the last C, which is commit to new goals, dreams, and aspirations, which is the bottom of this list here. Coming to new goals, dreams, and aspirations here. And so, yeah, so which one are you going to work? So those are the different categories. And so which one do you commit? Give yourself a timeline, all of that. So this is, once you finish this, now you have a goal for 2026. And after that, so when you think about the goal, I also recommend that you invite your kid to create a one-word theme for 2026. And yesterday, my oldest, his theme is top 3. So he's a fencer. So that is his intention for the year, regardless of the regional, local, national competitions, whatever he does, it is top 3. So on a daily basis, so this one word theme is like your decision making filter. Every time when you're about to make a decision, ask yourself, is this action in alignment with my theme for the year? If the answer is yes, do it. If the answer is no, forget about it. So for me, my theme is consistency for this year. So every time when I want to not record a video, when I want to be lazy, I ask myself, is that action? So my favorite way for being lazy is read a book. I love reading books and have a cup of tea. A cup of tea and read a book. That's really me being lazy. So every time when I want to do that, I will ask myself, okay, is that action in alignment for your goal, consistency in terms of social media for 2026? The answer is no. So this is a decision-making filter to really get myself re-anchored, refocused, restarted. Right. So for my son, top 3, every time when he wants to be on social media, when he wants to do nothing, he will ask myself, or doesn't want to do the physical training. I spent my entire winter break doing fencing winter camps, which is true. Like you ask yourself, is this action that I'm about to embark on or I don't want to do, is that in alignment or not in alignment with my theme, with my intention for 2026? If the answer is yes, do it. If the answer is no, forget about it. This has been such a game changer, can really keep you on track for the entire year. So yes. And last but not least, I also want to mention this. So at the beginning of this, you also want to do a self-assessment. So give yourself, this is what I created. So life 8 different categories. And so give your kid an honest self-assessment in every single category. So the last thing I didn't really mention is this thing here that I'm really proud of myself. This actually I learned from my own coach, but he said we can use the system, and I'm really thankful. I love this. So what you see here are 2 circles. The circle on the left, 2025, these represent like actions, beliefs last year, and 2026 is the new year. So what you see, so there are 3 different colors. So the red color, wow. So the red color represents the stop list. Why stop? So those are the actions and beliefs that are no longer aligned with your goals, intentions in 2026. When you look at this chart, the red color is literally outside the circle of 2026. This means that all of those actions are outside, meaning no longer going to serve you, no longer in alignment with whatever you want to do in 2026. So you create that to stop. What do you want to stop? For my kid, right? And stop using ChatGPT for schoolwork. You can use ChatGPT for YouTube video, for so many things in life, but for schoolwork, no ChatGPT, right? So that is a to stop list. So in the middle section here, so this is the overlapping between 2025 and 2026, meaning that those are the actions and beliefs still in alignment, still inside the circle of 2026. So keep them, right? So what is your to keep list? My son's example yesterday, he said that the importance of daily physical training, right? So for me, what I want to keep doing is keep showing up on social media and keep investing in coaching program. Every single year, I spend so much money invest in high-end coaching programs so that I can grow, because I know how much I grow determines how much my students will accelerate their growth. So the more I grow, the more my students grow. So I take my personal and professional development very, very seriously. And this is something I want to keep doing. So this action serves me in 2020, or served me in 2025, will continue to serve me in 2026. So kind of in that green color 2026 circle, so actions and beliefs. So here you create a to keep list. You want to keep doing them. Success leaves clues. If this is working, do not change it. And the last one is to start list. What are things? So you should be able to gain lots of insights regarding what you want to start when you look at challenges, lessons, hardships, and incompletes. They should give you lots of insights regarding, okay, what do I want to start? For me, to start is consistency in my social media content creation on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook. Follow me, and on my regarding my email list, and I do send email my people. So those are the things that I want to continue to do. This is my to start list. So here you are. So in today's video, I share with you 3 parts. Why annual review, we discuss 3 very important lessons, and then I also share with you my entire 4C framework. If you can really do this, and or you can hire a coach like me to do this with your kid, a complete game changer. And make sure you download the document, and then at the end you want to create 3 really powerful list to really hold you accountable, hold your kid accountable in 2026. Okay, so so I hope you enjoyed watching this, and let me know if you have any questions. If you are interested in having your kid work with me one-on-one, and spots are really limited because my time is highly limited. I also do speaking engagement. I also collaborate with the different schools. So I only have a certain amount of time to coach students one-on-one. If you want to do this, in the description box, there's a link for you to apply to book a clarity session with me. And in that session, we're going to map out where your kid is at right now. What are your goals, dreams, aspirations for your kid in the new year or in the near future? What is the gap? We're going to look at the gap, and I will share with you my game plan to help you close the gap. If you love my game plan, wants my help, you join our coaching program. If you're like, Dr. I, this is great, I don't want to work with you, that is totally fine. And that is totally fine, and you will have the game plan for yourself. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in another video. Bye.